today we are going to discuss what are numbers. Numbers means real numbers. Real numbers are those numbers which are made up of rational and irrational numbers. Here is you can say the flowchart or something to understand what are real numbers. Real numbers are divided into rational numbers and irrational numbers. Rational numbers are basically those numbers which we can write in the form of p over q, whereas irrational numbers are those numbers which cannot be written in the form of p over q. So I will write not equal. Okay, for example, pi, square root 7, cube root of 5. These are numbers which cannot be written in the form of p over q. On the other hand, examples of rational numbers are 2, minus 0.7. Okay, let's suppose how we can say 2 is a rational number. How we can write it in the form of p over q? If we write in the denominator 1, so it becomes in the form of p over q, so it is a rational number. How we can write minus 0.7 in the form of p over q? Remove its point, it becomes minus 7 over 10, because 0 is before the number, so we say minus 7 over 10, so it becomes also in the form of p over q, so it is a rational numbers. Rational numbers are further divided into terminating decimals and recurring decimals or repeating. You can also say recurring decimals means repeating. Okay, first of all, come to terminating decimals. What are terminating decimals? Terminating decimals are those which can terminate or stops after some points. For example, after decimal point we write example 0.439. This is your example of terminating decimal because it terminates after some digits. In recurring decimals means repeating decimals. After the decimals, the digits are repeating. For example, 0.395, 395, and so on, and it continues indefinitely. It doesn't stop, so it is called a recurring decimal. Irrational numbers are further divided into non-recurring, not repeating. For example, but continues for indefinite period. For example, 0.39542109887. It continues, and the numbers are also not repeating, so it is called non-recurring. This is the introduction of real numbers. Now moving towards the question. For example, this is your question: evaluate 4.2 divided by 0.07. How we can solve it? First of all, remove the point. We can write 4.2 divided by 0.07. First of all, remove the point. How we can remove? Omit the point, and we know after omitting the point we will write below 1, and how many digits after 0.1, so we'll write 10 here. Similarly, removing the point from there, it becomes, we write in the denominator 1, and how many digits are there after point? There are 2 digits, so we write 2 zeros below. It becomes 42 over 10 divided by 7 over 100. The zeros are before the number, so I omit it. Next, what we will do, 42 over 10, here is the symbol of division. We can change it into multiplication for simple evaluation. After changing division into multiplication, we know we also have to invert these numbers. It becomes 100 over 10. Now you can multiply both the numbers. You have to just simplify. You have to look what numbers can be cut down. This 0 can be cut down by this 0, and we know 7 and 42 are also divisible, so 7 1 is 7 and 7 6 are 42. Here is 6, multiply by 10, 6 into 10 it becomes 60, and the denominator 1, you know, you can write it or omit it out. So this is your answer. We have evaluated this. Now moving towards another question. Okay, the next question is express 22 whole 1/2% as fraction in lowest form. Okay, Now look how we can solve this question. There is percentage involved, and we know that how to solve the percentage. Percentage means you have to multiply this term by 1 by 100. After removing the sign of percentage, it means we have to multiply it 1 by 100 or simply divide by 100. Both meanings are same. Okay, but this is a mixed fraction. You have to convert it into simple fraction. Then we can simplify it. How we can convert into fraction? We know we have to multiply 2 by this 22 and then add the number 1. 2 into 22 it becomes 44, and plus 1 it becomes 45 over 2 multiply by 1 over 100. This is your simplification of mixed fraction. Now what we'll have to do, you have to check that there becomes a further simplification or not, the numbers are dividing on the same table or not. Yes, we can see 45 and 100 both are divided by same number 5, so we can cut them. 5 9s are 45 and 5 2s are 10 and 0. 5 20s are 100. It becomes 9 over 2 into 20, it becomes 9 over 40. So the question is, express this fraction as this percentage as fraction in the lowest form. You can see the 9 by 40 we got the answer. How this is the answer? Because it is in lowest form. We can't further divide them both because they don't divisible by the same table. 9 is a prime number, you can say odd number or prime number, or 40 is your even number. So this is your answer. Our next question is, write significant figures in the number 32.047. So let's first move towards significant figures. What are significant figures? Okay, significant figures are all the accurately non-digits. For example, I am writing the number 231. So there are 3 significant figures in this number. And how I know there are 3 significant figures? Because all these numbers are accurately known. So these are 3 significant figures. There are some rules which we know to count significant figures, that how many significant figures in a number. Number 1 rule is all non-zero digits are significant. So these are all non-zero digits. There is no zero. So I know there are 3 significant figures. This is your rule number 1. All non-zero digits are significant. Number 2 rule is 0 between 2 non-zero digits are significant. 0 between 2 non-zero digits. Like 201. 2 is a non-zero digit, 1 is another non-zero digit, and the 0 between 2 non-zero digits is also significant. So here are how many significant figures? 3 significant figures. This is your rule number 2. Next, moving towards the rule number 3. The rule number 3 is 0. This is this 0 before point. This is your decimal, and before decimal we have 0. This is not a significant figure. Okay, we don't count it. I am writing not significant figure. Here are only. Okay, the question related to significant figures is, write the significant figures in the value 32.047. रूल्स हम लोगों ने देख लिए. All the non-zero digits are significant. It means this is all significant, this number is also significant, and then this is significant, this is significant. And we know 0 between 2 non-zero digits is also significant, so it means it is also a significant figure. Now you have to just count and write there are significant figures is equals to 1 2 3 4 5 significant figures in this term. Okay, and third rule is zeros on the left side are not significant. In this number there are two significant figures and zeros on the right side are significant. Okay, these are significant, so there are 4 significant figures. Today our topic is square root and squares. You are familiar with the squares. For example, if you have to take the square of any value, you write for example 5, you have to take the square of 5. You will write 5 and here the power 2. The power 2 we say square. 5, it means 5 multiplied by 5. Power is 2, so we have to multiply 5 twice. 5 into 5, it becomes 25. This is the square. If we have to talk about square root, we have to take this radical symbol is of square root. You have to make the square of this value. For example, 5 square, 25 is equals to 5 square, and then put the symbol of square root. We know this square and the square root will be cancelled, and this is your answer. This is how you take the square root of any number and squares. For example, if I want to take the square root of 144, I don't know what are the factors. So to find the factors we will use this method. You have to divide it and make factors of it. Then it 2 9 3 into 3 and 3 1. These are the factors of 144. You have to write them here in the square root. It becomes 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 1 2 3 4, 4 times 4 and 2 times 3. Now you have to pair them. Pair means this one pair, you have to take 2 values in each pair, 2 then 2 and then 3 pair. These are the 3 pairs, 2 pair of 2 and 1 pair of 3. You will write 2 square into 2 square into 3 square, because 3 is multiplying by 3, so we write it as 3 square. 2 multiplying by 2, so we write it as 2 square. Now you can, as all the numbers are multiplying, so you can split the square root on each number individually like this. Now we know that square will be cancelled by this square root, square will be cancelled by this square root, and square will be cancelled by this root. This is how we take the square root of any number. It becomes 2 into 2 into 3. Now you have to multiply. 2 2s are 4 and 2 3s are 12. This is 12, your answer. It means square root of 144 is 12. This is your answer. Let's take another example in which we use decimal. We have to find the square root of 0.9. So we are taking the square root of 0.9. The symbol is, square root symbol is this, and how we can use it or take the square root of this number, we have to simplify it first. For example, to find the square root we have to simplify 0.9, and 0.9 is simplified by this removing the point, and after removing point we know here becomes 10 in the denominator. It will become 9 over 10. Now we have to take the square root, so you can write the square root on the whole number. Now make the factors of 9 and 10 of both the numbers. We know that the 9 factors are 3 into 3 and 10 factors are 2 multiplied by 5. You have to take the square root of this number. We are taking another example of finding the square root. For example, the value is 0.09. How we can take the value of this number? We have to simplify this number first. How we can simplify 0.09? Write it here, remove its point. After removing point, we know we have to write 100 in the denominator. Below point we write 1, and the number of digits after point are 2, so we write 2 zeros after 1. It becomes 9 over 100. To take the square root of 9 over 100, you can write it like this, because we are taking the square root of 9 over 100. 9 over 100 is actually 0.09. Okay, what we will have to do is to make factors of 9 and 100. Make factors of 9. It becomes 3, 3, and 3 ones are 3. And now making factors of 100. These are the factors of 100 and 9. You have to replace them. We can write 9 as 3 into 3 in the form of factors. Write 100 in the form of factors, 2 into 2 into 5 into 5. Now we have to make pair of these numbers. One pair this, other pair is this and this. What we can see, it becomes 3 square over 2 square into 5 square. Both the numbers can be written in the form of square. Now we have to split the square root on each number. You can say divide, you can say separate the square root on each number. So we can separately cut this square with this square root, square with this square root, and this square with this square root, and it becomes 3 over 2 into 5. Now you can simply solve it. 3 over 10. This is your answer if you find the square root of 0.09. Further simplification, you can also write it like 0.3. This is your question, how we can take the square root of the numbers having decimals. Our next topic is cube and cube roots. Similar to square, cube means power is 3. For example, I'm taking the cube of 3. It becomes 3 into 3 into 3. You have to multiply 3 times. It becomes 3 3s are 9 and 9 3s are 27. Yani it means cube of 3 is 27. How we can take the cube root? In the square root, we make the pairs and make power 2, so we can cut the square with the square root. In cube root, you have to take power 3. You make the pair of 3 numbers and then you can cut with the cube root. For example, taking cube root of 64. Firstly, make the factors of 64. These are the factors of 64 which I have made. Now we are taking the cube root of 64, so we have to write 64 square root and cube. So we have made the factors of 64. We have to write them here. It becomes 2 into 2 into 2. These are 1 2 3 4 5 6. I have write all of these factors. Now what we will do, we have to make pairs and make pairs of 3. In each pair we have to choose numbers 3. For example, this one pair and this is the second pair, because we have to make power 3, so we can cut it with the cube root. It becomes 2 cube into 2 cube. Next we have to separate the cube root on both numbers like this. Now we know we can cut this cube power with this cube root and this cube with this cube root. It becomes 2 multiplied by 2, and which is 4. It means cube root of 64, answer is 4. Our next question is this. For example, if we are given length of one side of a square garden is 14 centimeter, find the area of the garden. We have to find the area of the garden. As we know, this is your square garden. The length of this side is equal to this side, and the formula of area we know is length into length. But here this question comes under squares and square roots. So what we will do, you will write length of one side is equal to 14 centimeter. For the other side, you have to take square of this side, which will be the area of the garden, because you have to multiply length with this length. It means simply you have to take the square of the length. Area of garden will be equal to 14 square. You will say 14 into 14 is equals to 196, and one length is centimeter, and this is also centimeter. Centimeter multiplied with centimeter, it becomes centimeter square. So this is your answer. If a word problem comes for your square or square root. Similarly, if a question comes, if you have to find the volume, you know volume is length multiplied by length multiplied by length. It means length is 3 times, so you have to take the cube of the volume of the length, given length. So you can find the volume of a given container, given whatever. Similarly, if we are given with the area of the garden and we have to find the length, just length of one side, so we have to take the square root of number. If area is given and one side length is unknown, so you have to take square root.